Hello and welcome to Kederk Farms. We're back with another episode of the Clarke Farms map by MRG Mapping. And we've been running the corn dryer here for most of the day. We're almost done drying all of our corn. And so we've been going back and forth between the truck and this gravity wagon here, getting it all pushed through the dryer and put into this bin. And so we have fully wrapped up fall harvest here on this map. And so at this point, we're kind of curious to see how much money we're going to make as it comes to time to sell this corn here in the next day or so. And so we're just going to keep running this dryer here a little bit. We got to take care of our cows, I think, here shortly. And then yeah, we're going to look into what's coming up next here. And so we've got this Brandt auger here. I think we got to jump over here to fill this up. And it looks like we're going to have probably at least one more wagon full to go here. It's almost done processing through the dryer. Got about 5,000 liters left of wet corn here, so I know we'll get through that before the evening is up, I believe. And it looks like we've just filled up that gravity cart again. Yep, 100%. So perfect sizing here on this particular load. I'm curious if this grain truck managed to empty everything. It does look like he did. We need to line up a little bit more on spot with this auger and get this truck out of the way. We're going to go ahead and just put this grain truck right back over by the dryer. We should be able to get the rest of our corn into this grain truck, I'm pretty sure, which will be nice. In fact, we'll probably end up just leaving it in there and running it up to the elevator here in not too long. I think the high point for corn is coming in a day or so. We've got a pretty good system worked out here with how we've got everything set up. So that's all going to go into that bin, no problem. If we just walk over here and bring up the help menu at the bottom side of this auger, we're already approaching 80,000 liters in there. So we've got a fair amount of corn to sell. And then just getting the rest of the corn we had in there out. We've got just a little bit more to go. All right, so we have finished running the dryer. We are all done drying out the corn. We've got all of that corn moved out of the dryer and into this here grain truck. So we've only got 260 bushels here left to toss into the bin. I think we will toss it into the bin so we can run the fan on it a little bit here. I think we got some fans on top. Let it cool down just a little bit more. We're going to get this gravity wagon out of the way. I think as we go to actually sell, we're going to be able to hook that gravity wagon up to the truck. I know you can't dump a rear truck like this with the gravity wagon attached, but I think now that we've had that experience on other maps, we're going to be able to remember how that works from a selling perspective. And it won't be that many trips up to the elevator to get all of our grain sold, which will be exciting times. If we take a quick look at our finances, you can see that we're at a negative $630,000 on this farm right now. So we're definitely going to have to pay down some of that debt at some point here. I'm also thinking that our cows are going to be ready to be sold before too long, and so we're going to have to look into that as well. I think we're going to leave this gravity wagon here, probably actually right here alongside the dryer. This is just where we're going to need it soon, so let's do that and run over and feed our cows real quick and clean up the cow pen area before we move forward a little bit in time and get to selling some corn. I think we're going to go ahead and clean up in front of the trough here first before we get the feed mixer hooked up. Oops, we've gone off and bumped into this rock a little bit. My bad. cows are a little bit crazy on this map. It always amuses me. You're just gonna walk right through me there, bud. That's cool. So keeping this trough area nice and tidy will help with keeping the cows happy. We'll check in on their stats here in just a second. I'm going to dump this bucket off, and I think we're gonna need to make a little bit more TMR. I don't remember if we have anything in the trailer right now or not. It looks like we've got just a little bit of feed in there, so what we'll do is take and empty this feed out first, and then we do need to get the other tractor over here because we've got to have a tractor hooked up to it when we're dumping the bales into here so it gets mixed up properly. So I think we'll just feed them what we've got here, and then we'll worry about getting some more feed made here in just a minute. It was really not that much in there. In fact, I think that was all just silage from the last time we cleaned up the pen. I don't think that was actually TMR. My bad. Alright, so we've got the case all hooked up here, so we're going to go ahead and toss some bales into this feed mixer now. Get a silage bale going in there. We'll get a hay bale going in there, and then I can't remember how many bales this thing holds, so we'll jump into the case for a second and take a quick look at capacity after we've got 2 bales going. Looks like we can put one of whatever we want in there. We'll go ahead and do hay, just because the hay bales are all loose and crazy in here, and we need to get this planter dug out at some point anyway. We'll only get that on one time there. Oh well. We'll make it work. There we go. So with that, I think we can go ahead and just bring this in and feed some cows. We've got close to 4 tons of TMR here. It's a lot of animal feed. I mean, I know the animals tend to eat quite a bit of feed here, but 4 tons of anything is a lot of feed. Boom. Kind of curious to see how much they're going to take. I don't think they were particularly low on food, but you always got to keep it topped off here, especially when you're getting ready to fast forward time. I have a terrible tendency to forget to feed our cows when we fast forward time. There's been more than one occasion where I've had to start over again and reload a game because I forgot to feed the cows and they all died while I was fast forwarding time. So we don't want that to be a problem. I think I'm going to actually leave this guy parked here. We just had this menu open. Looks like they could use just a little bit of water. And we've got both the TMR and some backup hay and silage in there just in case I do forget to feed them. We've got several days worth of feed in here for the cows. And then if we look, the cows are starting to get a little bit more well-fed. I think we're trying to get up over 1,200 pounds before we sell the cows off. So we're going to let this continue and check back in here in a day or two. And we are back after progressing through most of the fall and winter months here. We're getting just a little bit of flurries here now as we enter midwinter. It is day 3 of winter, which is the appropriate time for selling off our corn. And so before we do that, we're just finishing off feeding the cows again. We've made some significant progress here with our cows. We're at 1,100 pounds now, up from I think we were at about 800 in early autumn. So we've got a couple more days of seasons left, and these cows should be in that target weight of between 1,200 and 1,400 pounds. So we're definitely getting close here. We've been keeping them well fed here with this TMR, which I think has done a better job of fattening them up. And we've been trying to keep this pen somewhat clean. It gets a little bit messy here, and they keep liking to try and walk on top of the tractor, so it always makes cleaning up this area a little bit interesting, but that's okay. And then we've just been dumping the silage right back in. It looks like they're eating some more of the grass or the hay and the silage that we've been putting in here as overfill, so I'm not really sure what's up with that, but we haven't kept up with it in that we keep dumping the excess back, and it keeps using some of it up, even though we've never run out of TMR. So I'm not sure I fully understand what's going on there, but that's okay. We've got the water filling up here, and so I think we're good with animals. And since it is snowing, I'd like to get back up here to the farm and hook up the truck and the trailer and see about selling some corn. We're going to get this Ford out of the shed here and hook it up to the gravity wagon. Now, we've had problems selling with Courseplay using this setup just because you can't dump the grain truck when you have the wagon hooked up to it, with especially with Courseplay, maybe even manually, I can't recall. However, that shouldn't be a problem if we're doing it manually. We can always just stop and disconnect the trailer when we need to. And it looks like we might need to move this Farm King to give us the room, I think, to get the truck and trailer through. So let's go grab a tractor. Probably not the ideal tractor for hooking up to an auger typically. And so we want to just grab the first available tractor that we have. It looks like the snow is picking up a little bit. I definitely want to get on the road and start selling this grain before we start getting snowed in. We don't really have any snow removal equipment set up on this save, so that could be a little bit disastrous. And we're just gonna pipe this in a little bit here, pull forward, and I think we're gonna set this down some for hauling it around. See if I can turn without completely tipping us over. These augers can be a little bit fickle from time to time when you're trying to move them around. And so we're gonna just leave this over here out of the way for the time being. I'm more worried about getting the crops out of our bins than I am about storing that auger right now. Then we're gonna just wheel this one over to the bin here. I do appreciate that this goes 6 miles an hour. Some of the other belts and stuff that I've moved around are, I think, at 3 miles an hour, and it gets to be just a little monotonous going at 3 miles an hour. 6 seems about right for getting stuff done here. We're gonna try and get it kind of pointed out onto this side just to make it easier when we're pulling our truck up and through this. We've got 0.01 tons of snow built up into our truck at this point. That's probably not good. And we're gonna go ahead and just grab the dry corn here. Looks like we're loading this truck up just fine. I was worried the snow was going to prevent us from putting corn into here, but we didn't quite get enough snow to have any problems with that. Our flurries are continuing to pick up. I'll be curious to see if we get any actual accumulation. So we've got just shy of 1,400 bushels here between the truck and the trailer. And so we're going to take and run this up to the elevator here and sell it. You will notice in the upper right hand corner here we're at negative 24,794, almost negative $25,000, and that's from our loan interest payments day after day as we ran through seasons. I think we were paying out around $4,000 per day while this traffic is slow, 20 miles an hour. Oh, we got a car coming. We're gonna have to weave in and out a little bit here. We would never actually probably do this in real life. Not with a fully loaded grain truck and cart for sure. But the traffic on this map is unbearably slow. Which, by contrast, the traffic on Flint Hills is recklessly fast. So I guess we've got both ends of the equation here. And so we're going to go ahead and find the sell point here. I think that's straight ahead. This will be the first time we've sold any grain here on this map. So if we look at our scale, we got 36,821. Oh, and I'm not sure we're gonna get the dump trigger if I don't pull over a little bit to get the trailer more over the pit. So what I'm gonna do is come here and disconnect that so that I can hopefully oh, it looks like the sell point's only on the other side. Okay, good to know. Well, I would have expected it to cover both of these hoppers, but we'll whip around here and try again on the other side. Hopefully this is going to work out for us. Whoops, we got just a little bit off course here. Alright, there we go. The truck is ready to go, so I can unload this manually, even though we're still attached. I think it's just when Courseplay tries to do it that things get a little bit confused. And so we're gonna just dump the truck here first, and then as soon as this is done, we'll see if we've gotten far enough over to get this gravity wagon unloaded. So if we switch to the back, looks like we're good to go. No problems here. And so our first full load is going to pay off all the interest we'd incurred since fall, and then hopefully have a little bit left, which will be good. And then the problem is that's not really us making any progress. This is, so far, with this load that we've sold, just paying interest between harvest and now. And so we've got to actually make some additional progress, or, you know, really we're not making any money whatsoever here. We're just paying off interest, and staying even is not a great position to be in, because we've got interest on all the other days of the season or year here. So, you know, total interest paid, if we look at this, you can see we're paying $4,000 a day with 6 day seasons. Across 4 seasons, you've got 24 days in a year, and 24 days in a year is gonna add up there. So that's what, 80, 90, almost $100,000 in lease or loans that we got to pay every year, and we just made about $28,000 on that load of corn. So we've got a little bit of catching up to do just to get ahead of interest. Now, ideally, even if we can just pay down some of the loan, interest is going to be less for the following seasons. And so, you know, the goal is to just try to make a dent in that outstanding debt. I'm super curious how much corn we've got left in here as well. So once we pull up here and unload another truck full here, we're going to hop out real quick and just look. And now I know this auger holds quite a bit, but we've only got 16,000 liters left inside of the bin here. So I think we've got one more load. I think that auger's going to be empty here any moment, and then, yeah. So my guess is we've really only got maybe a half a load left, not even, when we're done with this. So we're filling up this gravity wagon pretty quick. Oh, we're not even going to get the gravity wagon filled, it looks like. So this load... Oh, we'll have a little bit more in a load after this, but this load is going to be our last full load for sure, so I'm a little bit concerned we're not really making that big of a dent in our loan. We'll definitely pay some down, but that interest is going to catch up with us at some point, and, you know, you're still going to need seed, you're going to need fertilizer, fuel for your tractors. Luckily, I think we've got a good enough handle on feed for the cows, so we won't need to buy any bales or anything like we did when we were just getting started out. But yeah, we're kind of struggling here on the farm to a degree, and so we're gonna have to think that through as we decide what to do next. Speaking of what's coming next, the intention was to put precision farming on after harvest here, and kind of transition this save into a precision farming playthrough, since I kind of adapted well to that. I really like the precision farming mod, and I kind of see myself playing with that on all of my series. It fits in very well with my more realistic playstyle. However, MRG is working on updates to this map, and so I'm hesitant to put a lot more time into this, because I know I'm going to have to do a restart if I wanted to keep playing on this map once his updates come out. And so I think I'm leaning towards moving to another map after we get done selling off all of our grains and selling off the cattle that we've got, because they're just about ready to go to market. And so this may actually be our final episode on Clarke Farms, at least for a while. But what I'm thinking about doing is to kind of improve our realism just a little bit, is that we're going to sell off the assets on this farm and take that money to our next save game, and that will kind of give us a more realistic growing farm. And so, you know, where some of the maps that I play, you know, I like to just give myself a bunch of money and set up a starting farm. I think that this is going to be the save that we kind of continue on with. And so, you know, we are in debt. You know, we've been talking about the fact that we're struggling and we aren't sure we're going to get back out of debt selling this stuff off. I think that we're going to keep our financial state here as we move forward into our next map. So I've got a pretty good idea of what map we're going to move to. It's a map that I haven't seen a lot of people playing on to date, but it looks like it's going to be a good fit for my style. So stay tuned for that change here in the coming days. I think for today, the focus is definitely going to be on selling this last load of corn, and then we'll probably jump ahead another day or two and see about selling off the cows and seeing what kind of profit we've made on our cows, because this is the first time that I've really done a cattle farm, and we don't have a trailer for selling them, so we're going to be taking a little bit of a hit with the delivery costs, but that's okay. I think we've still probably made a profit on those cows. And so I'm just kind of curious to see what they end up selling for. 50 head of cattle is probably going to fetch a fairly good price. So I think we're going to drop the trailer off here, because I'm pretty sure everything else is going to fit into the grain truck, and it'll be easier to run up to the elevator and back with just the grain truck attached. And we're gonna hop out here and just double check the bin is empty now. So we're just getting everything out of the auger, which it looks like we have. And so we've got just a couple hundred bushels here in the grain truck. So we're gonna take this up there and see what our total is off of just the corn here from harvest. We are in a little bit better spot than I thought we'd be when we got started, but still, you know, it looks like we might get up to maybe 40,000 here. Not a ton, but that'll pay down some of the loan. It'll get us under 600K owned back to the bank, which will be good. Oh, we came up short. We didn't even get to 40K. Disappointing. We're going to go ahead and repay as much as we can. It does still get us below 600K. We're at 595K owed to the bank. And so we're going to run this back up to the yard and then check in on our cows here. We might skip ahead a day because I think we need at least one more day before the cows are going to be ready to get sold here. So we'll take care of that here real quick and check back in. So we've continued to pass some time, and we got some snow here finally. It's adding up a little bit. Looks like we've got a bit of a season's mask around the cow feeding areas, though, which is a little bit interesting looking. We've still got all this nice green grass right here, but everywhere else is looking nice and wintry, which is pretty cool. We just crashed right into that feed trough. Let's see if we can make a little bit tighter of a turn here. But our cows are now at a point where we could sell them. I think what we're going to do is wait just another day here into late winter and give them just a smidge more time to mature. Because if we transfer to a new map with seasons, we're going to be coming in on spring day 1. And so I figured we would run until spring day 1 here as well. Give us just a little bit more time on the cows here. We're at 1,200 pounds. I think they'll be, 1,300, 1,400 pounds here in another day or two. And so I think that's what we're going to do. We've got plenty of feed. We're putting some more water in there, so I'm not too terribly worried about it. That's a steep hill. Well, let's maybe not park on the side of this steep hill. We're going to whip around here and leave this up here. I just wanted to get it out of the way so we could clean the pin one more time here before the evening hours. We do have a bucket full of silage here. Usually what I've been doing with this silage that we scoop up is toss it back into the mixing wagon so that it gets turned into the better TMR. And when we're making the TMR load, since this thing holds essentially 3 bales, what we've been doing is putting 2 bales of hay in for every bale of silage, and then that gives us a little extra capacity to mix some of this excess silage into the feed mixer when we're cleaning up the pen. So we're gonna just whip back around here one more time, see if we can top off these cows, and we'll check back in another day or so here. All right, so we are here in early spring. We've been keeping these cows fed throughout the winter. If we take a quick look here at the animals menu, we've got our cows up to almost 1,300 pounds, and so they're definitely ready to be sold. We could probably go for just a little bit longer, but we said we wanted to wrap things up here in early spring, since this is where we'll be able to start the next map. And so I think if we bring up the animal menu here, we're going to make about 3,700 per cow, plus or minus the $200 fee we're going to pay to have them transported. And so we're going to just sell all these cows here real quick and see what we make. And so you can see here we're going to bring in a total of $176,000, which is actually pretty good, a little bit better than I was anticipating. And just by contrast, if we were to buy a new limousine right now, that would be $2,400. And so we made probably around $1,000 of profit there per cow. And so that's not too shabby. I would have hoped for a little bit more profit margin on there. We could probably sell our silage bales for somewhere around that, but we do have an enormous amount of feed here still, and so that's something that we're going to have to take into consideration as we move to the next map. I think that for the time being, though, we're going to go ahead and repay as much of this loan as possible. This is going to make life easier when we move to the other map. I'll know how much we need to set aside. And taking a look at our assets, just as we think about this transition, we've got, in addition to the bales, we've got our equipment, which I will deal with selling off camera. And we've also got a little bit of soybeans here, I think in this bin here. And so I'm not sure yet what we're going to do with the soybeans. I'd hate to sell them at a loss because soybeans don't sell really good until you get into the summer months. And so what I'm thinking about doing is setting up kind of a contract, leaving them in the bin here, and we will sell those soybeans in the summer and have that money kind of follow us with a bit of a delay into next year. I think that that's probably the most realistic setup as we transition to the new map here. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. I've kind of been looking for a way to maintain a little bit more realism as we move around here. So we've got our eye on a new farm on a new map, and we're going to see how this goes for us. So this is going to be us taking a break from Clarke Farms for a while until the new version of the map comes out at least. And so look forward to launching us on a new map and transferring some of this assets over in our next episode. That's all for today. Kederk,